Welcome on into the video, everyone. My name is RobinVouz, and today we are checking out Monster Train 2. Now, for those of you that haven't played the first Monster Train, I guess we'll start off asking ourselves, what is Monster Train? The answer to that is it is a much beloved roguelike deck builder game that came out, I want to say, about 5 years ago now, and is also one of my all-time favorites. I would actually have to say that I'd put Monster Train above Slay the Spire, which again is just a gold standard for roguelike deck builders. What do we want to do here? We will maybe, I think the Spire would be good, but also a Cleave might be nice here, just to get the little collector to give us some coin. But we won't really do too much damage to the Sycophant here, so maybe we'll do this here. There we go, you are in fact dead, and here we'll maybe just remove you because you're going to fill our deck with things to use. So, the goal of Monster Train here is, as you can probably assume, is a bit of a, I'm going to call it tower defense deck builder, I suppose you could lump it into that category. You have enemies boarding your train filled with monsters, and they're going to work their way up one floor at a time to get to your pyre heart, and this is powering the train here. Once this is dead, your train of monsters comes to a halt and you need to start a new run. For those of you who are noticing this is a very different pyre heart from the first game, that's because you have many pyre hearts to choose from in this one, which I don't believe was an option in the first. It's been a while since I have played it, so feel free to correct me if I am incorrect. However, in this game you have up to 13 different pyre hearts you can choose from, and those pyre hearts will all be locked behind specific challenges that you can work towards to unlock them. So, how does Monster Train 2 differ from the first one? Because if you're returning from the first game, you may be thinking, well, you know what, this actually just looks exactly like Monster Train 1. And it is, and I mean that in the best way. It is Monster Train, but more. You have brand new factions, you have brand new artifacts, you have new additions as well to make your runs a bit more interesting outside the fact that, what do I want to do here? Just having a wee think. Let's maybe inspire a couple times and then we can do some pyre gel. I might struggle to defeat this boss, unfortunately. I should have actually had you fly up so you stayed alive another round, to be honest. There are new additions to Monster Train 2 which sets it aside from its, first iteration. And these I will hopefully show you soon enough. Now the question is, am I able to kill you before we get to the heart? And I think that is a yes. There we go. Monster Train 2 adds some very interesting mechanics. Here we are here, which I might be able to show you off with some of these cards. In fact, here is one. I believe equipment is brand new, where you will get these cards which you can equip onto units, and this will allow you to give them more attack, more health, but more importantly, more advanced abilities, such as whenever it strikes, you apply Valor. Valor gives +1 damage per stack, and if you're at the front of the lane, that unit will also gain armor equal to the amount of Valor they have, which is really nice. Valor and equipment and moving your allies is the, I guess, the key personality of the Angel faction we're playing as, and then for our allied clan we have kind of the Demons the Dragon faction here, where they're all about casting spells, specifically low damage spells to apply to many enemies. Sometimes you get explosive spells where excess damage will transfer onto other enemies. You have Pyre Gel, which you've seen me use here, where each stack of Pyre Gel increases the damage to take by 1. And then you have this Dragon Sword, which is one of the new faction-specific mechanics that they've introduced, which I'll be able to show you a bit more of after I accept a reward here. There we go. So if I come here, I should be able to have a look here. So Dragon Sword is specific to the dragon faction. There you go, the Pyre. The Banished being the Angels. And how it works is some spells and abilities will grant you a dragon's egg to add to your dragon's heart. You can cash in your eggs at any time, but the more you gain, the higher the rewards you get. You also have other tiers. It's unfortunately capped at 8 initially, but you can find artifacts and upgrades which will increase your maximum hoard availability, which means the longer you hold on to it again, the more rewards you get. So for example, if we got 1 dragon egg, we could cash it immediately to gain 10 gold, or we can wait until we have 8 to gain 1 of 3 Pyre specific artifacts, which are synergized as well with the dragon faction, and 1 of 3 artifacts in general. Here at 13, you get 1 of 3 Pyre artifacts twice, and then 1 of 3 major boss artifacts. So the rewards scale exponentially with the amount of dragon heart eggs you have. They just get better and better and better. It's a really interesting mechanic of, do you want to cash it in now, or do you want to continue? The Banished don't have a a clan specific mechanic in that sense, but there are other clans in the game. I think I do want to go down the Banished line, so let's go to this banner here, and maybe we can focus on shifting with the Battle Dancer. If they shift, they'll gain some valor, so we can move our enemies back and forth, which again is another key trait for the Banished here. We could maybe, what if we do something like this? I don't think I want Avarice, which will give us money equal to the number of stacks. We could maybe reduce something to 1. I'm not going to upgrade the Stewards, I don't think, just because you really want to discard the Stewards when possible, in my opinion. But, what we could do is maybe just upgrade our Battle Lancer to give us a fairly decent unit overall. And then we can head to the next battle while you activate the other factions. So there are 5 factions in this game. Each faction has an alternate champion. Your champion being here. So we are Talos. Talos here being the alternate champion to the Banished, which I believe you unlock for completing a run with each clan. I could be wrong there. But you will unlock more and more as you progress through the game. Let's put you in the front since we've buffed you up quite well. 34 damage, you can protect their champion here. We'll put another Shield Steward here. For the other factions, you have the Luna Coven, which are a faction of Fae. They're like moth-inspired creatures, and they're all about attunement and magecraft. They're all about buffing your spells to deal a lot of damage, and then having your spells or your creatures also gain considerable damage as you buff your spells, which is a really fun spell slinging faction. And the Luna Coven also have a faction specific mechanic where there's a moon cycle. It cycles between new moon and full moon, and you'll have different units which will respond to this in different ways. Maybe they'll get stronger during a new moon. Maybe other units will have more spell power for your spells during a full moon. We are, unfortunately, wow, you moved directly up here. How did you get haste? I'm not playing with modifier, I don't think. That really caught me off guard. Alright, so we're going to have a Shield Steward here, and then we're going to have to cleave, and that's going to help out here. So you're dead, you come up to Pyre. Sorry, I'm too busy yapping. I've completely let that slip. Right, final wave with the boss. So they're another faction I've played as, which are really fun. And then the other 2 I haven't unlocked is the Underlegion, which is a faction of mushroom people who I believe you unlock by consuming cards. So I want to say that, being a fungus clan, it makes the most sense that they'd probably all have, consuming abilities or revolve around cards that apply consume. Let's just get rid of you to make the next roll a little easier, I think. And the last one is the Lazarus Leap, which is all unlocked by equipping equipment. Stumbling over my words there. Apologies. Apparently incredibly hot right now with the summer hitting. So again, seems to be another faction focusing on equipment, but doing it even more so than the Banished, which is really interesting, because the Banished have quite a number of focuses. It's not just equipment, but also there we are. Not just equipment, but also shifting, applying valor, etc. Which is really interesting. Alright, what do we want here? We can advance an enemy and apply melee weakness 1, where they take melee damage twice. We can have a shield to buffer creatures, give them more health. Whenever they are hit, they'll deal damage to the attacker equal to that unit's health. Or we can get a Hymnist. Hymnists are a type of unit exclusive to the Banished, where they will enchant all other creatures on the same floor. In this case, the Upbeat Warbler will let all units on that floor, other than the Warbler, attack before the enemies do, which is really, really fun. They're also, one cost, only take up one slot, which is really nice. We'll also take this Lava Armor here. 10 health is really nice, and then applying Pyre Gel on attack, or when you get attacked, it means that we're dealing with bosses a bit faster. We don't need to heal, so I'm not interested in getting the Pyre Remains. Instead, I'd probably like a Banished unit. Let's upgrade our characters here. I could reduce something to 1, but maybe not. We could get a large stone, or we could just buff some of our units up. Buffing up the Magma Cultist might not be too bad, but I might even just skip here altogether. In all honesty, we could even make something big if we wanted to, increasing their cost by 1, but also increasing their attack and their health substantially. We could actually make this Magma Cultist start to be a bit more useful. Alright, let's go to the Celestial Alpha Cove. If you've played the first game, this will be very familiar to you as well. These are random events. This one designed by Richard Garfield, which is very interesting. A lot of these are, they come with a big upside, but that is also along with a large downside too. For example, maybe you will give a blessing to deal more damage, however, your units will cost 1 more energy, something like that. Here we can pack 3 spells into a small gift box, and that means if we draw this, we can consume it for free to add all 3 contained spell cards to our hand. It just means we can't draw those cards individually, but it also lowers our card pool available to make it more likely to draw all 3 cards we want at once, which is fun. We can do the same with units for Jack-in-the-Box, and then after combat, the Jack-in-the-Box will summon a random boxed unit, or we can get a large mystery box, which will add a random card to your hand each turn. I really like a large mystery box, so we'll take that. Alrighty, and then we just want to get the Banished unit here. We have an Avenger here, who's a really nice bit of a tank, quite a good amount of health, quite a decent amount of attack, and then whenever they are damaged, they will apply melee weakness 1 to the attacker. Or we've got the Divine Dancer, where shifting applies armor, which is really good. You've noticed I've not actually been shifting this game, and that's because the alternate champion here doesn't seem to care about shifting. The original champion has an ability where you can advance a unit, shifting where they're placed in the room, and in doing so, you will apply Valor 2. Now, instead, Talos here is more focused on just applying Valor once to everyone on the same floor you cast the spell. So we're probably not going to get to show off the shifting aspect too much, because again, Inspired's a very different type of spell here. So unfortunately, we won't be able to buff up the Battle Dance until we get the spells to do so. But we will be able to apply melee weakness and use our Avenger to a good degree. We got given a Soul Smelter here from our mystery box, where we gain a soul whenever a unit dies, and then after defeating a boss, we'll gain a Dragon's Horde egg for every 4 souls we collect, which is honestly really fun, but it does cost quite a bit of energy to do. So I don't know if I want to do that. We could even cleave just to deal 20 damage to everyone at once, which honestly doesn't sound too bad. So let's inspire and then we'll cleave here, so that stops this healer from healing this enemy, and they are dead too. Our shield warden's going to take some damage from its boss, which is fine. And then what we can do is we've got 2 lava armors here, so we can maybe apply a lava armor to a couple of our units at the front, and then maybe just a pyre gel might be nice. Maybe here to you. I should really start padding out the rooms further up. Now, thankfully, this boss does push enemies on attack, so we did get an advance here, but that does mean our Avenger is now stuck in the back, so we're not really able to push them to the front unless we use Selfless Sacrifice here. Consume, we advance them, and we apply damage shield 2, which means we negate damage taken. Our Battle Dancer gets more Valor, which is just buffing them more and more, and then we can have Strike apply Valor 2 to friendly units, which honestly, putting out on a Battle Dancer may be really nice just to have more and more damage building up. You're going to die next turn, which is a shame, but that's my fault for not paying too much attention. They are at the very least applying Pyre Gel to the enemies that have attacked, which is nice enough. Alright, what do we want to do here now? We could put a Snotty Whelp here, but they would just die straight away. We could even consume this to gain a Dragon's Heart. Does nothing, but gives us eggs. What else do we have? We can gain 10 gold when a unit dies, so this is a room card. What this does is when you play it, this whole room has special effects put in place. So again here, we'll gain 10 whenever a unit dies. There's another one for giving units Valor. It's a really, really interesting mechanic, and I'm a very big fan of the rooms. We could just inspire here and let the pyre take care of you. I suppose we could also try and maybe apply Pyre Gel to you. That would kill it, however, it would die, so not really a whole lot we can do here. I think I do just want to inspire everyone, like so. In fact, what we could even do is just have you fly all the way up here. So this is a active ability in Talus where you can just fly to specific locations. And then you're just going to die, which is really nice. Here, you're going to take some damage, but that's fine. We'll end our turn. I'll show you why it's fine in a second. You might know if you were reading whenever I was hovering over the Pyre Heart. There we go. Now, unfortunately, plan's not working. So the Pyre Heart we've selected, the Wind Spirit, will restore the front friendly units on all floors to full health, which is what we really want for the Avenger. However, the Avenger is in the back here, so we're not actually going to get to do that. Let's put Magma Cultist here. Well, I could do it on the bottom floor, but I want to make our champion survive a bit more. In fact, our champion's about to die, which really isn't good here. So what we can do is we can just undo and start from the beginning. I don't believe you could undo your turn in the first game. Again, someone do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they want to say that's a new addition to the game. So instead we'll add our cultists to the front here. That'll help kill you. That'll help protect Talos while they heal up. And then we're also applying Pyre Gel whenever we cast a spell on this board. That's what the incantability does. So everyone's going to take slightly more damage per stack as we cast more spells up here, which we're going to want to do a lot of next turn because these are some pretty tanky enemies. Let's end our turn here. There we go. Now, thankfully, if this boss moves down to the bottom, they are going to shift these characters here, which means I will be able to heal you up, but it looks like that's not quite going to happen because this is the last wave. So in the last wave, the boss will just continue attacking until everyone's dead, and then move up to the next floor, etc., which is not too great for us, I won't lie. If we get quick here, we'll attack first. We could then cleave if we wanted to, which might be the best thing to do. We could even Valor. I could even try flying elsewhere. Maybe flying behind would be a good idea. And then we can just focus on buffing everyone applying Valor. and hope these guys do enough damage. I mean, they're doing 503 damage, so we should be absolutely fine in that regards. The next floor again will be easy enough as well, thankfully. And so, going back to what I said, how it's just Monster Train 1, but more, again, I say this in the best way. They've added so many fun and interesting unlockables and mechanics where it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. You're going back to a game that you really enjoy. You're getting to play the exact same game you know and love, and it's even better. It's not changing the formula that you have spent hundreds of hours playing. It's just adding even more to it, and I really love that. What do we have here? Soul Smelter for some eggs. We're a bit too late to play that now. We've got Death Core. Transfer all Pyre Gel on this floor to a unit, then deal 5 damage. 5 damage 5 times. So that would be 20 damage 5 times because of the Pyre Gel, which is quite interesting. I mean, we might as well just weaken you. There you go. Get you down to 13 health before you head to the next floor. Fantastic. It is genuinely been really fun coming back to this game and trying out the new additions. There are also daily runs just like in the first game, and there are also a new dimensional challenges. I'll hopefully be able to show that off soon. We can just end our turn here actually. There we go. Fantastic stuff. And then we can collect our rewards. We've got some really nice rewards too. Blood-Soaked Arena being another room. Friendly units getting Valor 6 on defeating an enemy. An absolutely incredible card. I'm very much a big fan of it. And I think another Magma Mauler can be fun because applying 8 gel on strike is really, really good. And I think Heaven's Light here, so we can have more units, can be fun, but maybe we want a bit more Ember and Deployment Ember first. And then as before, we progress. We don't really need to heal up, so maybe we should go for some money, and then obviously we're going to upgrade our champion. So once you defeat each of the main bosses, you will be able to upgrade your champion. You upgrade your champion initially at the start as well, so you start the game with a really nice ability too. What we can do is we can buff the attack and health slightly, and then double our Celebrate ability, where we permanently buff friendly units on all floors permanently after defeating the boss, or we can add the Resolve ability instead, where after combat we apply Valor 2 to friendly units on the same floor, and we also make our champion a little more survivable, which I think we do kind of need because they are a bit of a punching bag right now. Here we have another room. We have more equipment. I think another room, especially Magic Pyre, can be fun for the Pyre Gel abilities that we have, which deal 1 damage with Magic Pyre plus 15. That'll deal 15 damage and apply Pyre Gel too, which is really, really nice. It's fun to see just how much your spells and abilities climb as you go through the game. We can upgrade a spell to cost 2 less and consume. So, for example, our Cleave will now be 3. We can upgrade a spell to deal an extra 10 damage. We can gain Double Stack, where you double the status effect of the ability. So, I mean, applying 2 Valor to all units instead of 1 just means even more damage, and Shield to the enemies in the front. Or we can remove Consume permanently. So this Cleave that we've upgraded to cost 0 and then disappear after we use it, we can upgrade it so we can use that continuously in the same run, which I think is worth it. And we might as well just add a double stack. I think an Inspire double stack is good versus the Pyre Gel. I think buffing our units to do more damage overall versus dealing more damage to individual units, even though Pyre Gel is really good for bosses, is a good idea. Now, if I head back to the Covenant Outpost, I can maybe show you a bit more about the unlockables. In fact, you see right here, we have a Pyre Heart we're going to unlock soon. We have the dimensional challenges here, where if you go down there, you have like a whole tree of challenges which you can explore, which is really nice. I'm not too sure if you, well, I was going to say, I'm not too sure if you get rewards, but you do. You do get a unique pyre for your train. You get a unique room layout, and you get a unique crystal mastery frame as well, which is really cool. So you'll see here that you play as predefined clans with predefined champions, and a predefined pyre heart. The rank is also set, so you can change that, so it'll increase in difficulty as you progress through these challenges, and it applies specific mutators. So this is just a really fun additional way to play through the game, giving you new experiences as you enjoy unlocking everything within Monster Train 2. And this is another thing I really love. The amount of progression in Monster Train 2 is substantial compared to the first one. It's just got no lack of progression. There's always going to be something else to do. Here is the the unique train layouts I was talking about. These seem to be purely cosmetic. However, if you unlock, say, rank 5, you'll get a brand new layout. If you do the dimensional challenges, you'll have the Rock and Roll Heaven layout. It looks like there's 5 in total, which is very nice. I don't know if you'll get more in DLCs or in updates, but it's still nice to see that there's that small cosmetic that you can work towards, as well as the things that do stuff. We'll go to the library here and might be able to check out more. So, as I said, we have different factions here, different clans, and each clan has their own alternate champion too. And you can see how many I've played as well. And there is just so much more to unlock. If we go to the cards themselves, you'll also see some have different frames than others, and that's because as you start to use a card more, I believe that's a mastery you're getting through, and that'll unlock new frames to make your cards stand out is the ones you have used a lot more often than all the cards that are currently available. And there's just so much here. You can also look at all the enemies you've fought and look at the enemies you haven't yet fought, which I will say is still quite a large number here, including bosses, which is really interesting. And then you can also look at all the upgrades that you can unlock through the game too. So you have a really nice overview of everything available. Same goes for artifacts, where there are even more than in the first game. You have artifacts specifically from these random events, which can have a downside. You have clanless and clan-focused artifacts too. And then you have your frames. So we already saw that there was one frame you could unlock from dimensional challenges, but you do have very specific mastery frames that you can unlock as well through killing bosses and mastering the cards, which is where they get that gold frame here. And then you do have records they can beat. You also have an endless mode too. I can't quite remember if that was in the first game, but after you beat a run in Monster Train 2, it will give you the option to just continue playing it endlessly. So it's not the case of getting through to the end and starting again. You can just keep going for as long as you want. And this is really the goal, is to get all the way from Limbo here to the Great Abyss, and that will finish your run, which will open up the ability to just continue playing through the game. And I'm having a blast. I've had an absolute blast so far. I decided to play it for a little bit of time myself before jumping into the first impression / review, because it's a game that I've really missed. It's a game that I really have had so much fun playing. The first one, that is, playing it on the go as well. And to come back to the second one, being able to explore everything new has been an absolute gem. It's been an absolute treat. And it's honestly one I can wholeheartedly recommend you picking up if you are interested. Monster Train 2 is a game that is available on Steam, as well as every platform, I believe. Your Xbox, your PlayStation 5, and even the Switch. So if you just bought a Switch 2, Monster Train 2 is going to be a perfect companion for you to bring across with you. So definitely do check it out. It is currently £20.99. You can also pick up the supporter pack that comes with a digital compendium and a soundtrack if you want to support the devs further. And something I forgot to add is you do get the trial runs again. This was from the original game, where you can activate that, and you'll deal with additional challenges but get additional rewards. And as I mentioned, with the dimensional challenges, with there being mutators, you can apply mutators to your own run as well to make things more interesting and more difficult. This has been Monster Train 2. Thank you very much everyone for watching, and huge thanks to Shiny Shoe and Big Fan Games for providing a review key. I've had a ton of fun playing this game and checking it out, and I hope you've had fun enjoying watching along, and maybe you formed your opinion on whether or not you want to pick it up as well. If you haven't, and you want another little suggestion, I would definitely say pick it up. It's a phenomenal game. I'm a very big fan, and I have no doubt you will be too if you enjoy your card games. I really appreciate you all hanging around to the end of the video here. If you want more, please do remember to subscribe, maybe even leave a like, maybe even leave a comment, and I will have more first reviews going out for more roguelikes and deck builders in the very near future. You can also follow me on Blue Sky, Twitter, join the Discord if you want to keep up to date with everything going on with the channel. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you have a lot of fun checking out Monster Train 2 yourself and defending your pyre from all these nasty enemies trying to take over here.